Hello everyone, welcome back. About three or 4 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, I got some little statues, 3 Chinese god statues. They're carbide, and I was clearing up around the garden a bit, and I found these cuttings of a Chinese privet. So I decided these were just growing in a tray full of weeds, and so I planted one on each of these 3 statues, and I put the 3 of them into this big pot. Now I will be bringing these indoors into my shed for the winter, so I want to get them out of this pot now and put them into individual smaller pots and get them out, because they're just in compost as far as I remember. Get them out of that, get them into some proper bonsai soil so they can drain well, because I don't want them sitting in the shed full of water. I want to be able to water them, let them drain and dry out, and then be able to water them again, not just sitting. As you see, they're growing really well since I put them in here, and like that I've been tempted to wait, but I did have some of these before. In fact, all my privets, my Chinese privets, are all cuttings from the original tree, and the original tree died. It was in the greenhouse, and we got a really cold spell, and I thought it'd be okay in the greenhouse, but it didn't make it, it died. So luckily all the cuttings survived, or most of them anyway, so I have quite a few of these now. They all came from one little tree, so I'm going to be a bit more cautious with these, and I'm going to get them in so that I don't lose them. Again, they are only cuttings at the end of the day, so if I do, then I can just try again. But for now, plus the pot is a bit too big to be putting in the shed. I mean, I know smaller pots might take up more room, but it's just the weight of this with all the statues and all the compost and everything. It's just a big heavy pot, and it'll be quite smaller pots I can slot in easier. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is try and get them out of here in one piece without breaking them or anything. Not too sure how I'm going to do that. I'm not too sure how well they're growing in here, root wise. I'll just get hold of a couple of the statues, maybe I can lift it. Oh yeah. Oosh. There's some weight in it. I just have some kind of these kind of ball things. They're lightweight, just in the bottom. I was using them as trains. I might put them back in the bottom of the other pots. Okay. You can see there's plenty of root down here. Whether that's weeds or the actual plants, I'm not too sure yet, but I think it's the plants. So I'm just going to take this apart carefully. Now I do have another idea I may end up doing with these. I'll see when I get them out how they look. Plenty of roots in them anyway. They grew well in that compost and pear-like by the looks of it. But I just don't want all that amount of moisture on them in the shed. So it's whether now the roots have wrap themselves around enough or what. We'll have to see. Might have to do a little bit more intertwining of the roots. Kind of confused with whether it's under here the roots growing. Got some tape on it there holding it in. Trying to get as much soil out as I can, and then I'll just give it a gentle washing. Normally with these guys, when you do any repotting of them, they don't normally skip a beat, they normally just carry on happy out. So hopefully they'll do the same today. Okay, so we'll just put him out the way a minute and we'll get on to the next one. In there. See what's happening also is because the pot was so big, the roots are spreading out all over the pot, and you kind of want them concentrated on growing down rather than spreading out. So that's why I was also thinking putting them in smaller, thinner pots. So you know how all the roots now are hanging down. That's the way you want to plant it, not have them all spreading out like they were. Okay, so we'll just move that one over there as well. Stand him up there. Have a look at this last guy. And you can see all the roots are right out here. So we don't really want the roots right out here, you want them tight to the statue, but this has definitely worked well for getting them growing good and strong. These are only like little cuttings that I found. Again, we just carefully work through there. Okay, I'll keep going here and then I'll clean up and then we'll bring in, I'll give them a wash and we'll have a look at them. Okay, so I have them kind of rinsed off a bit. So now I'm just making sure all the roots are entwined so that when they do eventually thicken up, it holds the tree firm. At the moment it's still a little bit wobbly. That's only because all the tape is kind of rotted away now. But once we get into a pot like that, we can use the soil, will hold that. Now, my plan, I was thinking about them. You can see here, the tape is just disintegrating. I was thinking about these, and I think in the long run, what I might end up doing, rather than having just another 3 statues with trees planted on them, is to actually put the 3 statues together. So maybe back to back, if we go corner to corner like that, and then this one in the corner here, so they're like that, and then plant the 3 together. Maybe we can get the roots then entwined from one to the other, crossing over, and we'll just have it as one kind of planting. Yeah, so that might be a future plan. rather than just having 3 more ornaments with. Let me just raise it up a bit. I'll just raise it up a bit so we can see. Okay, that's a little bit better now. It's more better height. Yeah, if we was to plant the 3 of them like that and just have it as one planting, then prune back all the trees. I'm just debating whether I should do that now or wait. Again, if I do that now, it means putting them in a big pot. It means separate them, trying to fit them in the shed might not be the easiest thing. I could use a smaller pot now. Yeah, I'll have a think about it. Okay, I've made a decision. I am going to plant them like this. I think, like I said, I have a lot of trees planted on statues and stuff. And to have another 3, it's just, but have the 3 together like this will just make it a little bit more interesting. And like I said, we'll work on getting all the roots to entwine with each other. And so eventually they're all locked in together. And I think it'll just create more of an interesting kind of a project in the end. Okay, so I've got this pot here. It's about as deep as I've got, and it's kind of without going too big. So I have a big piece of mesh in the bottom. I'll just move this all together actually. I have one big full sheet of mesh in the bottom. That way then, normally I wouldn't do that because the roots are all meshing together. But that's what I kind of want to do with this, to hold them together. I was thinking I might have to stick them to something so that the 3 statues stay together. But after taking them out the big pot, I saw how well they were kind of holding together. So I think they should be okay, and they'll probably be in this for quite a while. So first thing I'm going to do is just put a thin layer of soil on the bottom. So bring these back over again. I do envy these people who have these big sheds or big workplaces to work in and not struggling in a little shed. Okay, so I'll just put a thin layer on the bottom, and I think with the good bonsai soil and the good drainage and stuff, these should start to grow quite well. Now, before I put them in, I want to just see what roots I have kind of that I can use to go from one to the other. Okay. So I'll start with this guy, and I'll put him in here. And go with this colour in this way. Just line them up. It's going to be a bit fiddly. I'm not going to trim the root trenching. I want to keep the roots as good and thick as I can, so that they can keep growing and thickening up. Okay, so back out the way. They're all touching at the corners. All seems evenly enough in the pot. Now all I need to do is try and see if I can somehow entwine some of the roots from one to the other. So if we put that root up under there, we took it over that way. And the next time we repot these, we'll probably be getting rid of a lot of these thin wispy roots. Now I think this one had some, yeah, it had some long roots coming out around the back, so we can separate a couple of them, put one going that direction. Oh, I'm stuck. I'll bring this one over this way. And we'll just bring that one through there and over there. And every time I work on the trees, now I have this one's coming from this back one, so there is a gap behind the staff of this one, so I'm going to try and get it through that hole. I can get it in there, carefully pull it out there, and then bring that one down that way. So now it's going to go from this one underneath here, so it's still keeping it growing downwards, and then wrap it round and through here, and then it's coming out the front here. Drop that one underneath there. And like I said, eventually we'll just end up with 1 or 2 roots, not all these fine roots coming down around. We have this thick one from here, and it's coming there through this hole here, and then coming down around the back, so that'll thicken up nicely, that'll hold it, and then there's one at the back, so that'll be well clamped onto that one. This one we've got roots. This one has a ton of roots on it. They come in either side of this, straight down the middle here. We've got some, and then we've got some gripping quite well on the back of this. Just trying to get out the tape where I can. Okay, so I think we're pretty much good. And like I said, each time we do a repot, we will just work on the roots a bit more, twine them a bit more, and hopefully then we'll have a nice finished product. Okay, so we'll get this filled in now with some soil and see how we go. That's my big scoop. Even though it's a big pot, it's still not going to take up as much room as that other one, or it won't be as heavy without all that moisture in it. I'm just going to put some soil in the middle if I can. Fill that in. I'm going to have to try and mound up the soil a bit. Just work that in. Just gently, we don't want to damage any of the roots if we can help it. Literally just letting the weight of the chopstick just push in. See, now we can push in a little bit firmer. Be good if we can get the centre of the three of them kind of filled out with roots. Now we're going to have to figure out a way to wrapping this a bit with something, so bear with me for a little while and I'll have a look, see what I can use. Okay, so I've used a bit of the drainage screen and I've just put a piece of wire through. Typically it wasn't long enough, so now I have basically that. So right, now I just need that. I've just kind of wound some, stitched it together basically with two pieces of wire. Now I'm just going to put this over here. Should have done it, probably put it over here before I stitched together, one side at least. Or hopefully it'll be long enough now. Let's get one in there. Okay, and then we can just use the wire then to shove into the soil. That will hopefully hold it in place. Now we can just fill that in a bit with some more soil. And once it's been grown for a while and I can see that the trees are growing and healthy and that, I will take this off and just reduce the roots down. This is just a temporary measure until we get it growing. So I just this side. And like that, some of the top roots, the hair ones, we're not worried too much about. Eventually, it's only the ones going down into the soil we want to survive anyway. The rest will either be cutting off or letting dry out and die off, because we just want to have a few good strong roots going down into the soil. Ideally, if you had a bigger, deeper pot, I could have put it back in, say if it was going outside, I would have put it back in the same pot I took it out of, that big plant pot, but since it's going in my shed, I said I'd use this one. Okay, so now I think I will do a little bit of pruning on the top of it, and we can take it off just now. I might just reduce the top a little bit, just so it doesn't, because it's in the shed, it's kind of a bit congested, and it will just give more space for diseases and things. Plus I don't want it getting too tall, it'll be hitting the lights, so we'll just prune this one back a little bit. We'll take this one back to here. We'll leave this one a bit taller, maybe to here. We'll prune this one to here, I think. Now we have a branch down here growing towards the other trees, so I'll just take that one out, and there's another one here and this one back here, so we'll take that one back as well. I don't mind them when they're up higher, growing towards each other and filling the gap, but down here I want to keep it clear if I can. So I want it to eventually look like one kind of spread out tree. This branch here is kind of interfering with that one, so I'll take that one right back. Take that one back to that outward facing branch. There. Maybe I'll reduce this one back another little bit. Just tip off this one. Okay, so that will hopefully start bushing out a bit more. We take that one in there out another bit, so the air can get through. And this one here as well. We'll take that one out, and we'll let branches up here kind of grow into each other if need be. And I don't know, it's going to be a kind of thing that I have to keep trial and error on what I'm going to do with it. But for now, we'll give it a good soaking now, and once it's drained we'll put it in the shed under the grow lights, and hopefully she starts to recover. So we'll keep you updated. I will plant these as cuttings just in case these don't survive. We can always try again. Well, a few of them anyway I'll plant as cuttings. So that's it for this video. Like I said, hopefully I'll be giving you updates on it, and they'll be all growing well and good and strong. Maybe next year, I don't know. I don't know if they'll grow too good, great in the shed under the lights and that. But if not, I'm sure by next spring they'll start growing pretty strong, and we'll just work on it. It's just going to be a project that, like I said, I'm going to have to kind of figure out as I go along. So as always guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get to see the updates and things, and we will see you on the next one.